Different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake
technology
of it. But
increased, I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes.
Because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovese, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. And if you're joining us for the first time, we want to make sure that you are bookmarking every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, because we are bringing amazing guests on the show every single week after week, booked well into 2025. And the guests that we have on, these are accomplished people. We're talking authors, speakers, successful business owners, people that have gotten success, sharing their stories, their skills, their experiences to help all of us level up our own skill sets so we can, succeed in our opportunities. We've got an amazing topic today. That topic is life lessons through unexpected connections. And, this one hits home because I'm the reluctant networker. Steve and I are both introverts, two former shy guys. We weren't networkers. We weren't talking to people. Steve was heavy into martial arts. He'd hit people. I was a graphic designer. I hid behind a computer so I didn't have to talk to people. But look, we have an amazing show. And this show, speaking of today's episode, we have a sponsor today, and our sponsor is Mr. Russ Hedge Consulting. Listen, you want to reach out to Russ. He has over 30 years of sales and marketing success in multiple industries. Russ Hedge can help you be successful in your business by helping you truly connect, transform your business, connect to new customers, russhedge.com. And look, speaking of upcoming episodes, we also want to make sure that you are able to see what's coming up, because maybe you want to plan your week. Go to masterconnector.show and you can see the list of all the guests we have coming on. Hey, maybe you even know some of them. And even if you don't, you can see who they are. Reach out to them on LinkedIn. Connect with people. This is the Master Connector Show. We believe in creating connections and creating community. So listen, Steve and I go back 26 years. As I said, both introverts. And here we are hosting a weekly show, connecting with people on a daily basis, making things happen. We are two unlikely people to be connecting, but I want to bring him on because he is the master connector, Mr. Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Rob G? How you doing there?
Good.
Yeah, we are definitely unlikely to be doing this, but hey, it's a blessing to be able to do this with you and partner up with you, and so pumped to be able to bless our community. So, but speaking of which, what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. And listen, oftentimes we overlook the powerful opportunities to connect with people from different generations or backgrounds, right? Missing out on insights that could change our lives. I love speaking on stage about this because unexpected connections can teach us lessons we'd never discover on our own. People tend to gravitate towards who they look, sound, and think like themselves, right? But this can limit the growth and perspective needed to thrive. True connection requires us to step beyond our comfort zone and embrace the unfamiliar, creating bridges instead of barriers. I'm big on breaking barriers, right? Anyway, life moves fast, and in the hurried world we live in, it's easy to miss treasures hiding in the relationships right in front of us. Read a great book, Acres of Diamonds. Go get that book. It's incredible. It'll change. I'm not remembering. Conwell. I think it's Conwell. But anyway, whether it's a conversation with someone older, younger, or from a different walk of life, these moments have the potential to spark profound growth. The greatest lesson often comes from the most unexpected places, teaching us patience, empathy, and the beauty of diversity. When we slow and remain open to others, we uncover new perspectives and opportunities that can enrich both our personal and professional lives. Building these connections isn't just about networking. It's about nurturing relationships and connecting and, which shape us and create a lasting impact. And speaking of lasting impact, if you haven't, get in the comments. I know we have Susan on here, Susan Lynn Castelli. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Tell us who, we are the Master Connector Show. So we believe in collaboration and connection. Get in there, connect with each other. Make sure we don't know you're on here unless you're in the comments. It's not like LinkedIn audio where it shows everyone's on. It doesn't show us. So get in the comments, connect with each other. But if you're ready, for my man, my partner in crime, Rob G, to introduce us, type in the comments hashtag Let's Go. And Rob, I'll turn it to you, sir. Excited.
All right, let's go indeed. Listen, our guest, Dave Moravec, is an accomplished business leader with over 40 years of experience in various industries, including educational technology and printing. A Chicago native transplanted in Cincinnati, Dave's consultative approach to fractional sales management and Chamber of Commerce growth has him in high demand as a respected speaker, storyteller, and entrepreneurial therapist. Dave currently serves as president and CEO of the Coleraine Chamber of Commerce and consults with clients as sales manager for rent. Please welcome to the show, Dave Moravec. What's up, Dave?
Hey, thanks for having me, Rob. Thanks, Steve.
Glad to have you.
We are pumped to have you on. It's honestly an honor to have you on, Dave, for sure. And I'm, as we were getting this show ready, and obviously we leading up to the show, we're always talking about who's coming on and throwing some content out. But yeah, it's just really a blessing to have you on here, Dave. So, but want to acknowledge Yolanda on here, Rob on here. They're all welcoming you. You got some love coming from all these folks here. So appreciate everyone coming on here and being a part of the show with us here. So we're gonna go right into it, Rob. Okay, Rob, I'm calling Rob. Dave, we're gonna get right into it. All right. So we want to start with a question on unexpected. So type in community hashtag unexpected. And I was recently at a professional networking event called BCW. I put a post about it today, and I met some people that I hadn't seen in a while, and we're looking to collaborate, and it's pretty cool. So I want to hear your perspective. I'm calling you Rob. Jeez Louise. Dave, what was the most surprising connection you've made, and how did it impact you personally or professionally, if you would, sir?
Yeah, there's been so many over the years, and I don't know that there's exactly one, but one that comes to mind is a guy named Harlan Geiser. I met Harlan through church. I was leading a small group, and he happened to be in the small group, and he sensed that there was something going on inside of me and approached me, actually in the narthex with a donut in hand, and asked me if I was open to having a conversation. And as it turned out, it has turned into a mentoring relationship. I worked for and with Harlan for 15 years and still stay connected with him back in Illinois. But if I wasn't open to a conversation in a different environment, then I would have, just simply passed that off. But many people miss the opportunity because they're closed in that specific environment. They're at the grocery store. They're there to shop. They're not there to network. They're not there to meet somebody. They're at the gas pump. They're there to put gas in their car. And all of a sudden, somebody needs their windshield. They're not tall enough to reach the spot on their windshield. And all of a sudden you do a favor for them, and you never know where that connection is going to be.
So true. It's funny because those who are on the show know that I had a mentor in my life, probably close to 20 years ago, and challenged me and said, you need to meet 3 strangers every day. And, from Cincinnati, from other parts of the country, people are friendly. In New York, not so much, right? And so I talk to people randomly. So a quick story, just the first thing that comes to mind. So here I am. I'm, for the very, very first time, see my nephew at a football game. And I'm going there, and I'm, just want to see him play. I'm not really thinking about anything. But, listen, as a businessman, we always have, we're always open for business as an entrepreneur. So I'm on the field, and there's all moms, soccer moms, if you will, the football, but same idea. And there's another guy, a little younger than me, dressed in a suit, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it's somebody I could talk to, right? And we struck a conversation, and it led to an incredible business collaboration. By the way, he saw me drive up with my Mercedes. He's like thinking, oh, I got a potential. He's a financial planner, a guy named Dave. And anyway, I'm thinking, hey, maybe somebody I could collaborate with. But it turned out to be one of the most incredible friendships I had ever have, and still to this day. And actually saw him yesterday, whatever day it was, Monday, whatever day. Yeah, Monday, at that networking event. So anyway, it's good stuff. You never know where things are going to go. I always say that with people, you never know, right? So
I had an
let's keep it.
opportunity. Yeah, I had an opportunity in an elevator to not do an elevator pitch, but simply let the person out of the elevator first. And turned out we were going to the same place. She checked in at the place, and then I came in behind her and started telling my story. She sat down in the reception room and overheard what it was I did. And as I'm leaving, she approached me and she said, "Hey, by the way, we're looking for a new printer. Would you be willing to talk to me, offline?" And I gave her a business card, and we did business for many years.
There you go. Absolutely. There's so many stories like that we could share about. So I want to should have shift gears a little bit here. We live in a world where there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of talk about age discrimination, and there's this sort of gaps that people have kind of imposed. So I want to talk about community. Type in hashtag generational. Okay, and so here's what the question is for you, Dave. How can we bridge generational gaps to create meaningful relationships that can benefit both sides?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First off, you have to look for them. If you're in a room with people that are like you, if I'm looking at middle-aged white guys and I'm in a room full of people, you can turn to your left, turn to your right, and find somebody of the opposite sex. You can find somebody of a different color. You can find somebody of a different generation. And that's true if you're young or old. That younger professional, if they just hang out with those people that are their own age, they're not going to learn from those that are older and wiser, and maybe find a mentoring relationship. So first off, you can start by looking. Second thing is by being open once you get into that conversation. If you're not involved in being curious listener to that other person's story, and you just simply want to blurt what it is that you do or give you your elevator pitch, that's not going to get you anywhere. You want to be curious about that person's background. I often tell people here in Cincinnati about my background in Chicago because it starts a conversation, and something leads them to Chicago, a Wrigley field trip or a business connection. They used to live there. And all of a sudden now I can start asking questions about that and build some rapport with them. But oftentimes you're not open to that because you're so wanting to tell your story.
Yeah, that's very true. Hey, Rob.
This is a very interesting topic to me when we talk about generational. And in college I had studied not as a minor, but it really is a liberal arts program. Before I got into design, went to design school. I loved social psychology. It intrigued me why people did the things they did, human behavior. And one of the things as I started getting older was, I was in corporate America for 25 plus years in the creative industry, very fickle, very ageist. The assumption is, oh, you're getting older, therefore you have no new ideas. And the thing is, they're right most of the time, because the problem I found out and wanted to avoid myself was age is a mindset. It's not a number. I met a 21-year-old kid who behaved like he was 75 in the way he walked, the way he spoke, and the way his thoughts were. They were embedded and unchangeable. And on the flip side, when I talk to people, they're surprised at my age if they ask. I don't volunteer it, and I don't make any reference to things that age me on purpose because I want to be relevant. To me, it's about relevance. And so they're surprised because I don't say things that trigger that I'm old in my mind, right? So I keep up on technology. This is a challenge to you. If you feel like you're aging, audience, keep on top of technology. Master the basic things. At one time, email was brand new. And I remember being in corporate and candidates would come in who were older in their mind. And they'd be like, I don't do the email thing. And it's almost like, okay, thank you for coming in. So you get cast aside. People don't look at us and see age. They hear what comes out of our mouth and they determine. That's what I
Love
found.
that.
I still play competitive fast pitch baseball, and I play with some kids that are 25 and 30 and 35. I'm going to the World Series in 2 weeks down in Florida, playing with 60 and over guys, but I catch behind the plate. I put on the catcher's gear. I've caught 33 games this year. I'll catch another 3 or 4 down in Florida. And my point is that people inevitably say, "Are you're serious? You're still playing? And how are your knees?" And all of a sudden, there is this connection to back when they were still doing that, because they're not doing it anymore. They might be playing softball or something along those lines. But you're right, staying active within your industry to keep track of the latest trends. If you're in human resources and you're not a member of SHRM, shame on you. If you're in the technology space and you're not keeping up with the latest. I mean, if you're a doctor and you went to your doctor was using procedures from the 50s and 60s, would you go there? No, probably not.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to throw my 2 cents on this one. Rob, you're right. As far as, if you want to stay relevant, look into technology, but another way to stay young is get around young people. Right. And I like doing that. Right. But I also think that there's great value if you're young. Talk to older folks because you can learn a lot of stuff from them, right? And if you're older, talk to younger folks because you can learn a lot of stuff from them, right? There's so much to be learned. We talked about it last show, is not being interesting, being interested. When you're interested, it's going to help you to learn. And so, me being an introvert, and Rob, I know, shares some of that from us together. We're for me, I'll just speak for me. I always had a tough time in the early stages trying to be a good conversationalist. But when you ask good questions and you get people talking, and not only you keep the conversation going, they like you, but also you start to learn stuff, right? I learned about pickleball before I started playing by talking to people that were into pickleball, right? And so it became relevant for me. But anyway, we want to keep the ball rolling here. We want to talk about presence, right? So Dave, as we go into this topic, what's your advice for being present in a very fast-paced world? I know we're talking about fastball pitching, but this is a fast-paced world. So you don't miss valuable connections around you. Give us some thoughts on that, if you could.
Well, a couple of things going on. Again, this device that we have is such a distraction to us. Guys on the baseball field or the golf course are taking calls from their work or from their office assistant while they're having a client visit on the golf course. Makes no sense to me. It's just you go to a restaurant today and see, we catch ourselves, my wife and I, from time to time, both on our phones. We might be talking to our kids or quickly replying to something, but we're not necessarily present in that conversation. And whether you're young or whether you're old, we still have these devices. I mean, the next generation, my grandkids, are whizzes with that stuff. They've grown up with it. Even our kids have grown up with it. We can put it down. We can turn it off. We can leave it in the car when we go into a business meeting. There are baskets that people put on their dining room table and say, "Hey, you got to put your phone in the basket before the dinner conversation." Those are easy things. I think the other thing is that recognizing, as you both have mentioned, in making a decision to be present, looking people in the eye, shaking their hand, truly acknowledging the conversation as they're speaking, as opposed to, being distracted over here by whatever that is.
Right.
And all of a sudden you become that learner, that interested learner that you're talking about.
Absolutely. I want to acknowledge Yolanda. Agree. Young and older people can learn a great deal from each other. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very true, Yolanda, for sure. It's interesting. We, one of the things I did, this is pre-COVID, just before COVID hit, I said, I am going to turn all notifications off, the beeps and the sounds, the vibrations. turn it all off. Because I found myself when I was having coffee with someone, and I knew as the master connector, I'm supposed to be engaged. I'm supposed to be present. I'm supposed to be looking at you, great eye contact. And I found myself, and even it was so bad, like, I would feel the buzz in my hip pocket or, maybe on the table. And I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom just because I wanted to see what the message was. It was terrible. I'm like, I'm turning these notifications off, and it's given me such peace. And it actually has allowed me to be a lot more present, for
one of
sure.
the things there, Steve, it's like you're saying, you got to turn it off. And Dave, they're absolutely distraction. And I maybe people need to learn that it's a skill to ignore that and to be with the person that you're in the presence of. And one of the things I did notice is if you are not present, if you are thinking about something else, if you're hearing the buzz and wondering who it is and the person is talking, you're probably missing something key that they're saying that gives you the entryway into a deeper connection that could lead to business. The best connections are the ones where you can listen, hear the opportunity, because not the opportunity doesn't always knock on the door and shove itself in your face, right? You got to listen to people and hear what they're saying or not saying, so you can answer appropriately or respond appropriately, or maybe ask a deeper question that can lead to the opportunity.
I mean, think if you were dating somebody or going out on a first date and they're distracted, you're distracted by the score of the Cubs game or the Yankees Dodgers game, and you're just checking that video. How important do they feel at the other end of that conversation? And if it's happening today with that conversation, it's likely happening with the next one and the next one, because we often continue that habit until we break it. And so, Steve, just putting that on silent or non-vibrating, probably a good habit to get into.
It was great, and my wife doesn't like it. She's like, I tried calling you. Like, some of you younger folks who are watching the show may not remember, but there was a time where if you needed to get somebody, you had to wait 5 hours till they came back from work. Like, it wasn't accessible. It's crazy. But that's the world we are in today. But anyway, well, you're speaking about kind of one aspect of mistake, which is obviously not being present. So I want to dig into this a little bit. So let's talk to hashtag mistakes. So why do people often seek relationships with those similar to them, and how does that limit their growth?
Well, again, think about a networking event that you're going to, and you're having that like-minded visual, that pretty woman who's in the corner that's similar in age to you, or the person who's prettiest in the room, the best looking guy. You just gravitate to those individuals. If you're thinking about it in a I guess a larger sense, a major shift. If you're looking for the conversation with somebody else, go stand next to somebody who's not that popular person in the room, either visually or they know that they're the CEO, or they've got the group of people around them. Go up to that person who isn't necessarily talking to somebody else, and just ask them why they're there. What is it that they're looking for from the event? What's their business, and take an interest in them. It's not rocket science. It's really pretty simple. And oftentimes I catch myself, and I do this. This is tip. You want to put a major tip. Don't go to a group at all. Just stand there by yourself and wait for somebody to come to you. And I've done that in a number of instances where it'd be natural for me to go over to talk to this guy or this group or insert myself. And I'll just purposely stand there with my drink or my appetizers and wait for somebody to come up to me. And then I'll turn it back on them and ask them the questions. What was it, that brought you to this event? Or what is it that you're looking to gain from this event?
You're on mute, Steve.
I give you a lot of credit for that, because my self-esteem does not yet allow me to sort of stand by myself, assuming people are going to come over to me. I need to grow to be as good as you, Dave, for sure, because I don't have that yet, but I love that. But you know what? I've learned that you got to start to just enjoy the journey and just, whatever happens, and kind of roll with it. So I want to, as we get to the end of the show here, I want to just touch on one last piece on journey. So community, type in #journey. What role do unexpected connections play in shaping life's journey, and why is it important to embrace them?
Well, I wrote a book, and I have been promoting it for the last 6 months. The book is called Echoes Across the Tracks. The subtitle is exactly the title of the show here today, but Life Lessons through Unexpected Connections. And the main character intentionally meets people that he wouldn't have otherwise met on this journey on the train. So many times we're on a plane and we've got earbuds in and looking at our phone or our Kindle or whatever it is, and the person next to us maybe has their earbuds in, and 2 hours passes and you'll never make that connection. But in my book, the main character is heading to the airport, and the cab driver suggests that he take the train instead. And now it starts a 20 or 30-hour adventure where conversations can take place. People get on and off the train. You interact with the conductor and the food service attendants differently than you do a flight attendant who's going down the aisle. And so that journey, as opposed to just flatly getting to the destination, while we're waiting at the airport, we can talk to the person to our left or right and hear their story about where they're going and why they're going there. We can embrace that journey if we take the time to do that.
No doubt. I mean, I'm actually going to be flying to Charlotte on Friday morning. So anyone listening, if you're in Charlotte, let's hook up. But not the right word. Let's connect over coffee, okay? I don't mean nothing like that. I'm a married man, right? No, none of that stuff. But anyway, no, let's connect for sure. But anyway, I agree, and I love talking to people on the plane and the airport. It's awesome. It's great. Well, I know you want to talk about something. So, Rob, I'll pass it to you, and you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So listen, it's been a great show here with Dave, and on the Master Connector Show in general, audience, we always want to bring the value. That's why we ask probing questions. We want to hear what made somebody successful, what they're doing. We want to add value, but we want to heap on that value. So we're going to ask Dave here, who has an offer for you all, to tell us what he has for the audience. Go ahead, Dave.
Sure. The first 3 new connections. I like the meet 3 new people a day idea that Steve mentioned. The 3 new people that connect with me on LinkedIn next will get a free copy of Echoes Across the Tracks. I'll personalize it, mail it out to you, no cost to you, and an opportunity for you to potentially pass the story along to somebody else.
Love that. That's great. I love it. Yeah. And Dave, what's as we close down the show, we're so blessed to have you on here. What's the best way for our community to connect with you and reach out to you?
Sure. Salesmanagerforrent.com is my website. You'll find media about the book, upcoming events. I've got a book signing this weekend up in Wooster, Ohio. And you can find me on LinkedIn through my LinkedIn profile, or simply ddmoravec5@gmail.com, or through the Coleraine Chamber of Commerce here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Love it. Appreciate that. Well, we're gonna put you in the green room. I love to chat with you a couple minutes after we begin the show. But thanks again. You were amazing, Dave, and appreciate you being on here and blessing the community.
Thanks,
Rob, I'll turn to you, sir.
Yeah. So listen, we always have so much value here, and what you're doing is you're learning, audience, from the stories, the journeys, right? #journey, the journey that all of us have taken. And coming from places where we've come from, particularly Steve, I remember Steve 26 years ago, because we were both the same in similar places. But look, Steve had some things under his belt going for him, but he still had that major hurdle of being able to relate to people and network with people, truly connect with people.
and he put it on his book. So I'm going to say, hey, listen, get his book. I read this book. It's a wonderful book, chronicling some of Steve's stories, some of the lessons he learned, the Tao of a Master Connector, the way an introvert became a master connector. Listen, I heard a long time ago that if you want to become successful, read the thoughts of successful people. And there you go. You do the same with Dave. And I'm going to put this in the chat, how you can get that book. And please pick it up. I'm sure you won't be disappointed.
I appreciate it, Rob, as a labor of love. But thank you. But we're excited for next week. This was a great show. Episode 187, Wednesday next week. Same bad time, same bad channel, the 6th. Journal Your Way Back to You with Amanda Stern. It's going to be an incredible episode. And if you want to learn more about some of the upcoming episodes, go to masterconnector.show. And if you want to do what Russ Hedge has been doing, which is sponsor an episode, you don't have to sponsor the whole thing. Sponsor an episode. You can learn about the value of that. Go to masterconnector.show as well. But I want to close down with something. And I know we've talked about Oprah a little bit. She's an incredible icon in media and just overcoming icon terms of her life, but Oprah's life changed when she formed an unexpected connection with Maya Angelou, hoping I'm pronouncing that right, the acclaimed poet and activist. Oprah, still early in her career, initially saw Angelou as a distant role model, but their paths crossed and evolved into a deep friendship. Angelou's wisdom about grace, forgiveness, and self-worth profoundly influenced Oprah's personal growth and leadership, shaping her ability to connect with audiences authentically. This relationship teaches us that being open to unlikely connections, whether across generations or different experiences, can unlock transformative life lessons and guide us towards becoming a better version of ourselves. Remember to be open to new connections, because you never know what can happen. Be open and always shine your light. See you next week. God bless.
And you start to hear some of their challenges. And yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives